Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Наши программы предлагают много языков. Пожалуйста, посмотрите suprememastertv.com /schedule.
The creation of the ozone hole showed how rapidly we can change our planetary environment for the worse. Climate change is a bigger problem, but that doesn't absolve the politicians of responsibility for making the necessary decisions. The ozone layer, Earth's invisible shield of protection. Continue watching to find out more.
The ancients dare not belittle the animals, because although they take on animal forms, they do have the heart of a human, of God, and who knows, Buddha and saints may use that form to teach us the truth, the Book of Truth, the Bhikshu Sangha Buddhist Association.
Kanstazu, wonderful viewers. That means how are you in Manx, a traditional language spoken on the Isle of Man. My name is Ethan. The optimistic people of the Isle of Man thank you for bringing joy and laughter to those around you. May your positive energy uplift people wherever you go. Welcome to our show, The Ozone Layer, Earth's invisible shield of protection. Did you realise that the vitality of life on planet Earth is protected by a force shield known as the ozone layer? Ozone is a pale blue gas that naturally exists in Earth's atmosphere. Ozone, or O3, consists of 3 oxygen atoms bonded together. Most of the atmospheric ozone layer is concentrated in the stratosphere, about 15 to 30 kilometres or 9 to 18 miles above Earth's surface. The ozone layer plays a critical role in protecting life on Earth and the wondrous flora and fauna that thrive in its lush landscapes. The layer absorbs ultraviolet or UV radiation emitted by the sun. Without the ozone layer's protection, the risk of skin cancer, cataracts, and damage to the natural environment is greatly increased. Ozone is a relatively unstable molecule and can be broken down by halogen radicals such as chlorine and bromine. For instance, the reaction between ozone and chlorine produces oxygen and chlorine monoxide. The US Environmental Protection Agency states that one chlorine atom can destroy over 100,000 ozone molecules through such reactions. During the 1980s, Jonathan Shanklin, a junior researcher at the British Antarctic Survey, or BAS, detected a hole in the ozone layer. Recognizing that the ozone hole resulted from ozone-depleting chemicals, namely chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs. The Montreal Protocol was adopted in 1987 to phase out the use of CFCs and other chemicals that were breaking down the ozone layer. The Montreal Protocol was the first successful environmental treaty to be signed by a group of nations worldwide. Greenhouse gases absorb heat at relatively low altitudes and warm the planet's surface. However, they have the opposite effect at higher altitudes. As the stratosphere's temperature changes, a cooling effect results in further ozone depletion. Scientific studies have investigated the various impacts on climate chemistry interactions of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, or CO2, methane, or CH4, nitrous oxide, or N2O, and ozone, or O3. It's been found that increases in the gases nitrous oxide and methane in the stratosphere could impact catalytic ozone cycles. These climate chemistry interaction studies ultimately found that climate change can potentially worsen the ozone layer's seasonal losses. Regarding these studies, atmospheric scientist Jonathan Shanklin says, "The creation of the ozone hole showed how rapidly we can change our planetary environment for the worse. Climate change is a bigger problem, but that doesn't absolve the politicians of responsibility for making the necessary decisions." Dr. Paul Young expresses similar concerns, saying, "We know greenhouse gases affect the ozone layer. It's not directly comparable, but it's nice to have something positive to hold on to, the Montreal Protocol, and to see that the world can come together." The Montreal Protocol was a landmark achievement signifying the world's unified approach to ending the global environmental threat to planet Earth. In the wake of the dire global warming crisis the world currently faces, a key question is why don't large nations collectively enact a worldwide treaty to end the root cause of climate change? Due to global warming, wildfires have been causing havoc in many parts of the world. An atmospheric analysis performed in April 2022 reported that Australian wildfires during the years 2019 and 2020 caused nearly 1 million tonnes of black smoke to spew into the air, damaging the ozone layer. This catastrophic event was reported in the proceedings of the US National Academy of Sciences. The report stated that the smoke particles caused 1% of the ozone layer to be lost, eliminating a decade's worth of ozone recovery. According to Dr. Susan Solomon of MIT, this 1% ozone loss was the amount that should have been recovered over the past decade due to the adoption of the Montreal Protocol. Professor Solomon adds, "This fire offset that in one blow, it was comparable to a big volcanic eruption that happened in 2015. A wide range of scientific studies and reports from organizations around the world assert that the animal people-based diet is the major cause of climate change. The studies stress that a global shift to a sustainable plant-based diet is needed to prevent further damage to our planet's ecological systems. Research work that appeared in a 2018 issue of the scientific journal Nature stated that ending the meat-based diet is essential to avoid climate breakdown. Dr. Johan Rockström, who was part of the research team, exclaimed, "Greening the food sector or eating up our planet." Professor Peter Smith highlights the importance of adopting a plant-based diet. "The evidence is now unequivocal. We need to change our diets if we are to have a sustainable future. The fact that it will also make us healthier makes it a no-brainer." Another recent investigation by scientists from Stanford University and the University of California, Berkeley, illustrated the enormous carbon footprint of meat and dairy and how much humanity would benefit from shifting to plant-based eating. The analysis showed how climate change can be reversed. A 2022 report on the study, published in the journal PLOS Climate, states, "Eliminating animal agriculture has the potential to offset 68% of current anthropogenic CO2 emissions." Dr. Michael Eisen, a participant in the study, says, "There is an amazing potential to do something that no other existing scalable technology has, which is to actually reduce atmospheric levels of all three major greenhouse gases, methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide." Professor Eisen adds, "The current levels of these greenhouse gases are enough to send us over the edge from a climatic sense. It's no longer enough to just stop putting stuff into the atmosphere. we have to go backward. The discovery of a massive hole in the ozone layer extending across almost the entire tropical region of planet Earth was reported in June 2022. The hole was found to be 7 times larger than the one discovered over Antarctica in the 1980s. The new finding is a major concern regarding increased ground level UV radiation, along with the associated risks of skin cancer and cataracts for nearly half of the world's population. What's even more alarming is that, in contrast to the well-known Antarctic hole, which occurs only during springtime, the newly discovered massive hole is a year-round gap in Earth's atmosphere that never closes up. The discovery was made by Professor Quing Bin Liu from the University of Waterloo, Canada. Professor Liu shares his concerns on the location of the newly discovered hole. The tropics constitute half the planet's surface area and are home to about half the world's population, and this may cause great global concern. He adds, the hole in the ozone layer will also affect climate changes in the stratosphere and on the ground, decrease agricultural productivity, and negatively affect sensitive aquatic organisms and ecosystems. Let's now listen to the wisdom of our most beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai on this subject. May her important message help to clarify why an international law banning meat productions should be passed.
It looks beautiful from the outside, but our planet is full of fire underneath, yeah? Boiling. Not just boiling, but extremely boiling. Almost like the heat of the sun. It came from, boiling gas. So the outside is cooler. Maybe the inside, some crust still cooler, but a lot of burning fire is still inside there. So we have a lot of stuff like earthquake, volcanoes, and then therefore influence the water and the ocean and all. And on top of that, some of the planetary humans awaken to their old habit of invention, of the knowledge of destruction, and invented some bombs. And testing here, missile there, H bomb here, and whatever bomb next there, disturbing the atmosphere, killing the ozone layer. Not completely, but enduring the protective layer of our planet, and changing the ecosystem, destroying many things slowly or quickly. Some of them irreplaceable. Many of the species are gone, beautiful ones gone, and no one can replace them. 既然我们人类做很多不好事，天地还在这边尽量保护我们呢，一天到晚补这个补那个，超氧层一天到晚破坏，然后再补回来，人类就问为什么又补回来了？啊，就是天地的恩典嘛，一天到晚帮忙我们净那个地球哈，净化那个空气啊，帮忙几百千亿年了啦。 我们人都不好，没有醒过来，没有对自己好，还怪天怪地什么？是吗？因就有果嘛，啊？我们怎么给别人痛苦，怎么能拿到那个快乐呢？是不是？If we don't do it now, the earth will be gone. Who is there to eat meat? The government can ask people that. The governments have to explain to people that it's truly harmful now, and it is an emergency that people should stop eating meat.
Our deepest gratitude goes to Supreme Master Ching Hai for her urgent reminder. We pray that all people on Earth hear your warning and quickly adopt the vegan lifestyle.
All information concerning the scientific evidence of climate change and its solution is in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, From Crisis to Peace.
Free for download at crisistopeace.org.
Vegan, or are we still Neanderthals?
Thank you for your caring presence today during our show. Let us remain unified in praying that a worldwide ban on meat will soon be enacted, following the example of the ban on ozone-depleting chemicals. Coming up next is Shelter Friend, Ukraine, bravely shielding abandoned animal people, right after noteworthy news. May you and your loved ones be spiritually uplifted through heaven's grace.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/PE.